Hey, lost. We lost power there. We're still streaming though.
You're still streaming?
Yeah. Yeah, we lost power there for a second. But yeah, it looks like it's recovered. We'll see. I want to see what the stream looks like. But anyway, so
I went out to see, like, I was like, wait, did everything, our network go down for a second? I was like,
yeah,
there are people
mine's
on the
usually
phone
pretty
and
solid, but
everything,
I think we're getting ready for the storm here or something.
yeah. Hey, wait, doesn't your wife work for the electric company?
Yeah, I'm gonna complain to her. But anyway, so we're talking about the 336. It's available
Yeah.
now, and you can basically put that in with your network. You could build out your whole network with it if it was a new, if it's a new install, right?
Yeah.
And anything else you wanted to say on the 336?
It's a 4x4 design, 5 gigabit Ethernet port. It's PoE plus. You have to have PoE plus. I wouldn't use anything less than Cat 6A for that.
Mm-hmm.
I would say that would be the minimum
Okay.
cabling for that.
Yes.
But so just quickly, the adoption of 6 gigahertz is, that's a big, that's going to happen this year, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's actually more Wi-Fi 7 devices coming out by the end of this year. There's already, I think, 28 to 30 Wi-Fi 7 devices out in the market right now.
Yep.
For clients,
right,
on the client side. So, as we have a Wi-Fi 7 device, right?
Yeah, I'll put a picture of it up.
Yeah, it's the ECW 536. That's also a 4x4. So 4 transmit, 4 receive on 2.4, 5, and 6. So now the question comes, okay, what do you choose? Like, do you choose a Wi-Fi 6E device, or do you choose a Wi-Fi 7 device, right? So what's your take on that?
I think we talked about it a little bit. Like, it depends on where you're at. Like, if it's a new network install, then you got to make a choice, I guess. Like, do you want to invest? You're gonna future proof. Like, how long do you usually upgrade your network? Right? If you do it every 5 years, then definitely Wi-Fi 7, because. The Wi-Fi 6E devices will work on the 6 gigahertz, and they're backward compatible with all the other, previous standards, right?
Right.
So if it's something where you do a refresh every couple years, then maybe I would stick with the 336 and just do Wi-Fi 6E.
Yeah.
And if it was something where you just want to supplement your network, definitely I'd probably do the 336. Like, if you have Wi-Fi 6 access points and you want some 6E to support these new devices, I would do the 336, because it's going to make the most sense, financially, and the devices that will support it, right? There's no Wi-Fi 7 devices coming out really until next year. At least minimum.
By the end of this year, but the other factor is that Wi-Fi 7 won't be ratified until December of 2024. So at the end, almost 2025.
Right.
And they're showing that's when Wi-Fi 7 will really pick up. So the thing that you have to think about is, Wi-Fi 7 really started development in 2019. We're at the tail end of the development cycles there. So most of the features that everybody's touting on their Wi-Fi 7, like 320 megahertz wide channels, multi-link operation, multi-RU, puncturing, all those features are getting close to being standardized. There's probably going to be a wave 1, wave 2 kind of thing. I think if there's any fine tuning to those features, it could be updated with like a firmware update. Worst case would be like another version of hardware. So you have to keep those things in mind. So if you do, if you're buying that now, if you're buying Wi-Fi 7 now, those are the things that you should consider. The good thing about having Wi-Fi 7 early is you do get an understanding of, if you have Wi-Fi 7 devices, how it does work, how it performs within different
Yeah.
environments and things like that. It's going to be similar to a Wi-Fi 6E device, I would think. Similar, not the same, but similar, like in regards to range and penetration through like obstacles, because you're still working with the same frequencies. Um,
For
so
sure.
those are things to consider. So, very conservative, I think. To be very conservative, you would go with Wi-Fi 6E. To be a little on the bleeding edge and like future proofing, then yeah, you would move to Wi-Fi 7, and maybe you deployed Wi-Fi 6E in most areas, and then you threw in some Wi-Fi 7 in like more concentrated areas or where new devices would enter into the network. But I don't know.
Yeah, it
It'd be
really
different
depends. I
for every
mean, we'll be testing the Wi-Fi 7 access point, and the other thing to look at, like definitely in your lab environments and your engineering areas, things like that, because you're gonna also want to look at like how it affects your switching. How much throughput is going through that. You may have to do switch upgrades to be able to actually handle that kind of traffic.
Yeah.
If you want to take advantage of it, right?
Yeah.
Um, so
Yeah, I mean, where we saw gigabit speed on Wi-Fi 6E, which was a perfect scenario, right? It was
right.
not, I wouldn't say perfect scenario. It wasn't in a chamber, right? It was not
Yeah. Oh
within
yeah,
your
I'm
house.
getting it here. I'm getting over a gigabit here, just in with other access points, 4 other access
Yeah.
points running.
But
Um,
how close are you to the access
oh, I'm
point?
pretty close. It's like
Yeah.
right there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, so
yeah,
you have to be really, really close to see those kinds of
yeah,
speeds.
for
So,
sure.
and even in our testing, we tested Wi-Fi 7, right? So we
Hmm.
set up two access points, one in AP mode and one in station mode,
Yeah,
and close. Now, we didn't test like multi-link operation, but we did test like 320 megahertz wide channels.
yeah.
And we were seeing about 4.3 gigabit
It's pretty good.
in the
Pretty good.
office, like in our office environment.
Yeah.
In fact, I was running the 336 on 160 megahertz wide channels,
Mm-hmm.
and there was definitely interference. We definitely saw interference
Oh,
on
okay.
6 gigahertz because
Yeah.
we're at 320 megahertz,
Right.
and my AP was running 160, right, wide channels.
Yeah.
And as soon as we turned that thing off, the speed actually ramped up, and we're seeing like spikes into 6 gigahertz.
Wow.
The distance was like, you're talking a 4x4 client, right? That's
Yeah.
what it was really acting as, to a 4x4
Right.
access point. Best like a really, you're not going to see that in real world. You're going to see like a 2x2 most
Mm-hmm.
likely. Right?
Mm-hmm.
It was probably 3 feet away from one another.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and we also did the same test in a conference at Spice World. Now I don't know how much 6 gigahertz interference we had, but we were seeing on average 3.4 gigabit per second in the same scenario, probably a little bit further away, and we ran that for like 8 hours.
Yeah.
And I remember